g'day from Ireland. I've been in Ireland now for just about 3 weeks. I flew into Shannon and got picked up by my good friend Sandra that I met in Australia when she was living over there, and got taken out to her hometown, silver mines in Tipperary. Pretty excited. You know, it was a day I've been looking forward to for a while. It was an all-Ireland semi-final between Tipperary and Cork. So they woke me up early and cooked me a traditional Irish breakfast. Then went to Croke Park, the home of hurling. So after the game, spent a week in Dublin, checking out Dublin's best. Then I went to the Museum of Archaeology. You know, I found that pretty interesting because I was able to see a lot of the things I'd taught about when I was teaching ancient history in Collyambley. So you know, I saw some of the bog bodies and some of the gold. I went to the Kilmainham jail and got the tour of the prison there, and that was really interesting as well. I was able to get a really good insight into what life was like in that prison and some of the most famous inmates. So when you're in Dublin, it's pretty important to visit what may be the most iconic tourist spot, which is the Guinness Storehouse, which is the home to Ireland's most famous dark beer. Because once I got a taste for the Guinness, I ended up putting a fair bit of it away on a regular basis now. And an Irish folklore night where we sat down upstairs at this bar and got a traditional 3-course Irish meal. And we were told folklore stories and listened to traditional Irish music for the night. So while I was here, I had an opportunity to experience some of the GAA games. I then ventured back to the home of hurling, which is Croke Park, and did the Croke Park Stadium tour as well. Sandra took me away for a weekend up north, so you know, went up into the English side of Ireland, and anyway, we headed up towards Antrim to Port Stewart and had a look over there. We had one of our friends recommend a couple of places over there where we got some really good ice cream and checked out some pretty awesome scenery. To the Giant's Causeway, which is a really impressive geographical site where there's like strange rock formations that scientists have got an explanation for it, and then the Irish folklore have also got their own explanation for it, that it was traditionally a road built across the sea for the giants to go to Scotland, and it was eventually destroyed. I'm not sold on either one just yet. We made our way to Belfast. Went out in Belfast, saw some Irish live music and drank a lot of Guinness, and then really struggled to get ourselves up the next morning to go to the Titanic exhibition. So not many people know that the Titanic was actually built in Belfast. And
Titanic's construction begins with a series of pitch pine blocks laid.
After Belfast, we headed back to the mines and met up with Sandra's sister and brother-in-law, Yvonne and Paddy. And then we spent the night there, and then we got up early and headed over to the Cliffs of Mother, which are these really big cliffs on the coast. So after the Cliffs of Mother, we drove around the Burren, which is spelt B-U-R-R-E-N. I actually thought it was Burn, like what you do with a fire until I looked it up, and yeah, sure enough, it's just the accent getting in my way again. And then we went searching for Father Ted's house, which is a famous house that was used for comedy, Irish comedy over here. I had no idea what it was about until I was made to watch one of their shows the night before we went. But yeah, no, sure enough, it's pretty funny, and I can see how they'd appreciate visiting the place. Night in Doolin, which is a nice little town on the coast, and went to a pub that we've been recommended to go to, and heard more live music, and ate more food and drank more Guinness. Over to the Aran Islands, which is an hour and a half over sea, which, you know, shakes you around a little bit. But we went out to Innismore, and when we were out there, it's a beautiful little island, lots of rocks. But yeah, we hired bikes and rode bikes around the island. Sandra went back to Dublin, and I was staying with Vaughan and Paddy, and they looked after me for the week. So the first thing they did, Paddy took me to Bunratty Castle. Then I had a couple of days exploring the silver mines area. So yeah, I went for a couple of drives, then also went for a couple of runs as well. Found myself in some nettle bushes, which was very hilarious for the Irish people. Then we went up to the Devil's Bit, which is like this big sort of mountain /hill. And then that night, went to Dublin Airport, and I was flying out of Ireland just temporarily, but to go to Scotland, and I flew into Edinburgh. So I went to Edinburgh Castle. And then I also went to the National Museum in Edinburgh. I walked the Royal Mile. And then I got myself onto a bus for a 3-day tour up into the Scottish Highlands. So on this tour we visited a number of like really cool valleys, rivers, mountains, open landscapes, but it's just absolutely magical up there. It's sort of one of those things that you see in pictures, but you know, until you're actually there and you're surrounded by it, you realise how amazing it is. Once I was done with Scotland, it was time to go back to Ireland. Time to go back for the biggest day in hurling, which was the All-Ireland Hurling Final. A packed Croke Park Stadium with 82,500 people there. Yeah, there's just as many Tipperary fans as there was Kilkenny fans. The noise was just electric. To have been there to see one of the closest finals that you could probably ever see in a hurling match. Anyway, that's it from Ireland/Scotland. It's been a pretty great 3 weeks. I really have to thank the people who have looked after me. So Sandra, Vaughan, Paddy, Tom, and yeah, you've all spoilt me, and I've got a pretty big job to do if you guys ever decide to come visit me in Australia to try and make up for it. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, next I'm heading over to Poland and then Czech Republic, and then my final destination, which is Germany. So anyway, I'll speak to you in about 3 weeks. Bye.